So what about player 2? Hey everybody, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Ready Player One. So this is the last of our movie week. For those who may not know, this entire week and the end of almost every month, with a couple exceptions, which I'll get to, we have an end of the month movie week. We normally do movies every Saturday and Sunday, but at the end of the month, we'll do an entire week, Monday through Friday instead. So no movies will be this Saturday and Sunday, but starting next week, it goes back to normal. The theme for this month's movie week for September was movies that have numbers in the title. Not like a This Movie 2 to signify like a sequel, but like the numbers are actually part of the title. And so Ready Player One is an example of that. Now, this is a donation reward for Venom, per usual, so thank you, Venom. And this is a movie that came out in, I want to say 2017, 2018, something like that. And was a movie that I was interested in when I heard about it and just never saw. For one reason or another, I never got around to seeing it. And I couldn't really tell you why. I don't know. But I've heard a couple of things about it over the years. One thing I know is that it involves a lot of like properties. I want to say they're Warner Brothers owned properties, but I'm not 100% on that. The only one that I can think of off the top of my head for sure that's in this is the Iron Giant. And I know that because I also know there's a controversy about that. So I don't know the exact context of how it's used in this, but I know that the Iron Giant is like shown in its weapon form. Which, if you've seen the movie The Iron Giant, you know that's a big point of the film is that the Iron Giant is not a weapon. I mean, he literally is, but you know what I mean. A big point of the film is that he is who he chooses to be, and he should choose to not be a weapon, but rather Superman. And so I know that there was a big controversy when this movie came out from fans of the Iron Giant about how the Iron Giant is portrayed more in the weapon form, I guess, as a weapon. Again, I don't know the context of it and everything, but basically the complaint was that they used the property without understanding the property. Now, mind you, I don't know the context of what this movie is, like, really about. I know it involves, like, video game stuff, I guess, to some degree. Hence, Ready Player One. But I'm assuming that since the Iron Giant's in it, I'm assuming it's within this game world. So, in a way that kind of, like, invalidates the complaint. Again, I don't know the context here, but if it's in a game world, like from a perspective of like, just this like, how would I put this? I don't know, VR chat kind of thing situation where it's like not actually like a canon depiction of the Iron Giant. It's like, then it's not really that weird to think about, right? It's basically the idea, it's like a skin in a video game. It doesn't have to really make a lot of sense. It's just there to look cool. That's my kind of view on it. Again, I don't know the context behind it, but I know that this was a big controversy when this movie came out. I also know that this is based on a series of books. And there's a lot of people who I do know have made comparisons, and I've heard some people say it's better than what happens in the books. And I've heard some people say that it should have stuck with the books a little more. I'm not going to have context for that going into this. I'll just tell you now. I'm going to judge this purely off of my thoughts on the movie itself. I can't judge it on the books. So don't expect me to think about this like an adaptation or think about this like, oh, how does it compare to what the books did in this part? I'm not going to be thinking about that. Um, and yeah, I don't think I know of anyone who's in this. I might have like known who was in this in the past, but I don't know now. Mind you, it's been like what? God, 7 or so years since this came out. So it's very likely that yeah, I wouldn't know or I wouldn't remember because again, I haven't really thought about this movie a lot for a long time. It's just not. It just kind of like flew out of my radar, you know. So I haven't heard too many people even talking about it. So I wouldn't have heard who's in it since a long time ago. But I am curious to see what this ends up being like. I do hope for the best. Like I said, I've heard mixed things about it, not even just with the book adaptation aspect. I've heard mixed things about the movie. Some people really like it. Some people really enjoy this movie. And I do know that some people don't. I will judge it purely off of my perspective. Um, but I'm going to talk about it more in the afterthoughts, but I want to mention here right now as a reminder, the next few months are going to kind of be rocky in regards to this because of the holidays coming up. And there's going to be just a lot of like issues getting like a movie week done. So I will touch on that in the afterthoughts in regards to what's going on with that. But for now, let's just get into the movie and see what we have in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So as with any movie that is based off of like a book or something like that, I like to kind of like wonder about what kind of differences there are. And so I looked up some of these differences. And apparently most of it just comes down to, oh, the timeline's moved around a little bit, or there's a lot of things in the book that are cut back on in the movie, such as the key challenges. In the book, apparently there's a lot more to them. And there's like 3 parts to each key challenge or whatever. So it's just stuff like that, which makes sense. When you're making a movie adaptation, you cut back on things a little bit, simplify it for the visual medium. It makes sense. Some things being switched around, characters having slightly different roles. Yeah. There didn't seem to be any real big changes. From what I could find. It seemed like it was just, the simplistic stuff of, like, cutting back on things a lot. The only thing that the movie actually seemed to, from what I, again, gathered based off of my quick research, the only thing that the movie actually expanded on was, from what I found out, the pop culture references, which also makes sense. In the medium of a book, it's harder to include those without making it feel forced and random. In a visual medium like a show, a movie, a game, having those kind of references makes more sense. Because you don't have to like talk about all of them. They can just be shown in the background. Like there's a lot of points where you just see characters from something. They don't have to be specifically called out. Like Diva from Overwatch. Or not Diva, Tracer, rather. Tracer from Overwatch was shown at multiple points. And yet, it never once mentioned Overwatch. Or Diva, or... Why do I keep saying Diva? Or Tracer. It never once mentioned the character, but she was shown multiple times. And that's what you can do with a visual medium like this. So it actually makes a lot of sense. Plus, the fact that this was helmed by Steven Spielberg allows for a lot more of that. He's able to, integrate a lot of that in himself because of everything he's worked on and everything he's involved with. He's also a pretty big nerd, so he probably had a blast working on this, just saying. um, and so, yeah, this movie was obviously like chock full of constant references, um, kind of acting as a love letter to just pop culture in general. Not just video games, but everything. I mean, you saw like Mecha Godzilla in this, you saw Gundams, all kinds of stuff. King Kong obviously had a major role. So I really liked that. I thought that was like a genuinely good way to integrate in all of these references. Just how a lot of them are in the background when they're not being directly brought up. Um, Now the big thing with this movie is, I guess I heard wrong. Going back to what I was saying in the pre-thoughts, the Iron Giant never went into his full war form. I heard that was the big controversy. That the Iron Giant was, I guess maybe the controversy was instead that the Iron Giant was just, engaging in combat, shooting the lasers and whatnot. And it's like, it wasn't the Iron Giant, you know that, right? It was this character's mod that she built into this, like on herself. It was basically, like I said in the pre-thoughts, my guess was basically correct. It was a skin. It was a mod skin. And it's like, it's not going to operate in the same way that the actual Iron Giant would in that regard, in terms of personality and character. It's literally like Helen here actively being in a war and using the Iron Giant mod, the skin, to utilize its, cannon firepower, because it does have that firepower, but she never takes it into, like, the war mode. So it kind of does, like, keep in line with that still. Like, she remained in its normal, like, standard form. Going into the war mode probably would have helped, like, fight off these enemies and stuff, but she never did that. Probably because she's a fan, I would assume. Although she did say it was a commission, right? But I mean, it seemed like she was probably a fan. Also, I very much called that she was a girl. Like, very much called that. And I looked up her actress. She's been in stuff that I've heard of and maybe even seen a little bit of, but it's nothing I would know her for. It's just I've heard the name. And I think a lot of the actors in this were that kind of thing. It's like I've heard their names, but like other than like Ben Mendelsohn, who again was Talos in the MCU, it's like I wouldn't really know them. So, yeah. Outside of Simon Pegg, of course, who I just did not even recognize until his name appeared in the credits. He looked so different. And of course he was doing the American accent, so it didn't even cross, even when he was doing his, like, British accent. Although, I think isn't Simon Pegg Scottish? Or maybe he is just, I don't know. But even when he was doing the British accent, it's like, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I still didn't connect it. Because most of the time he was doing that while in his avatar, and it's like, I just wasn't thinking about that, so. Now this is a movie that I could see a lot of people say is extremely overwhelming. Not just because of all the pop culture references, but like during the war sequence and everything, there is a lot going on. It is very visually, like, visually aggressive. To the point where, yeah, it's very hard to, like, focus and concentrate. And I will agree to that. But it didn't bother me too much. Like there were definitely parts where I was noting, oh, it's like hard to keep track of everything. I'm trying to like look out for references, but everything's moving so fast. I'm like not noticing much. I think I saw a Ninja Turtle or two at one point, but I'm not even sure if I was actually correct that they were Ninja Turtles. It might have been something else. It's just like because it was again going by so fast. Um, but it didn't really bother me. It didn't take anything away from the movie. And of course, I have to talk about the message about like, yeah, enjoy your games, have fun, but also acknowledge that, reality is reality. And that you do need to take a break every once in a while and spend time in the real world. Like, I do a lot, like, obviously, online. I do a lot making this channel, recording reactions. I do a lot recording gameplay for the gaming channel. I spend a lot of time watching YouTube. But whenever I get the chance, I do like to go out and do things in real life, whether it's going to like this local festival every year that we have in our area called Arts Beats and Eats, whether it's going to conventions. I love going to conventions. Whether it's doing stuff with friends on occasion. Like I enjoy going bowling or like going mini golfing and stuff on those rare occasions I do that. Um, there were a few years back where I would be going every year to the Renaissance Festival. I haven't done that in a while, but pretty much since COVID. I haven't gone to that since COVID hit and everything. So, but I was going for a few years for that. I like going to the zoo and stuff. So it's like, yeah, I'm online all the time. I very much am. And a lot of that is due to the fact that I just don't have a way to get places most of the time. But if I have a ride, if I'm able to go somewhere, I would love to go places. Hell, I have a friend who hosts board game tournaments every week. Every other week it's on Thursdays, and every other week outside of that, you know what I mean. It's on Thursday one week, the next week it's Saturday, then back to Thursday, then to Saturday. And so it's like this week, for example, this Saturday, tomorrow, I'm going to be going to that and I'm going to be out for hours. I'm going to be away from my computer and stuff, and I'm going to be playing board games with people. And I have another friend who hosts board game parties at his house that I go to. And again, I do a lot of this kind of stuff. I interact with people as often as I can. So yeah, I'm very, very engrossed in like the internet and technology and video games. But I also do take the time to spend in real life. And so it's like the message here is good. It's not saying that oh, video games are bad. No, it's saying embrace gaming, have fun with the internet and with video games and communicating with people online, but take some time off. Remember, in the end, they didn't like stop Oasis altogether. All they did was, close it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. 2 days a week out of 7. 2 days a week is not that bad. So it's like, yeah, I think that's a good way to handle the lesson. The general story of this taking place like 20 years in the future of like real life current day, and centering around like this evil corporation trying to like take over to like place ads and everything, and our group of rebel insurgents basically who are fighting to make sure that just doesn't happen. It's the kind of story you've seen in a lot of different things, but the context and everything centering around it makes it much more interesting and fun. The actors did a good job. I have no problem with any of them. I liked all of the characters. I enjoyed the performances. And I think like the designs of everything was good. Like the characters that were supposed to look like characters you know from video games or whatever else. It's like, yeah, I recognized them and they looked good. They looked like the characters. And then like the original avatars all looked really good, and I like that their styles were slightly different. That was a really nice touch too. I like the pacing of this. This was a bit over 2 hours long, but it didn't feel like it. It felt like it was like maybe an hour 45, which is good. Like that's really good that it felt that much shorter than it was. And honestly, I really enjoyed it, both for like the nostalgia of seeing certain things, but just the love of pop culture, the good vibes it had. It just really felt like this was made with a love for this kind of stuff, for video games, for pop culture, for all of it. But also with a like genuine heart behind it, centering around all kinds of like emotional beats with these stories about the creator of this world, of this VR chat like world. Learning about all of Halliday's different regrets and mistakes from the past, and the fact that all of the keys were connected to all of this, to his real life, to his like statements and words and thoughts. Like that's where the heart of this movie comes from. It's not in the romance. The romance is good, but that's not where the heart of the film is. The heart of this film is in Halliday himself. Not even the main character by any means. Like at the end when our main character here tells Ogden, it's like, I'm not running this alone. I'm doing it with my friends. You see him tear up. You see Ogden tear up. And like when he says like that's a good decision, you can hear his voice cracking. Simon Pegg did phenomenal at that. Like that was such like God, that was emotional. Like even thinking about it now, it's getting me emotional. It was so well done, and obviously Simon Pegg is a fantastic actor. We've known this. But it's like he put so much emotion into that. Like that felt like real. I wonder what he drew upon to make that so authentic. Different actors will draw upon different things. I wonder what he drew upon for it. That was so well done, and it like really showcased that was the heart of the film. Everything involving him and Halliday, and all that happened with like Kira and whatnot. All of these different regrets. Like, yeah, the stuff involving our main characters and their connections, the growing romance, like all of that's fine and all, but like even with the dude's aunt dying, like being violently and horrifically bombed to death, it's like the movie kind of didn't play that as like this massive deal for too long. You notice that? Like it noted that it was a big deal and that he was upset by it. Like, yeah, he was obviously like fucked up over it and wanted revenge initially, but it kind of almost forgot about that after a certain point, because that was never meant to be the emotional core of the movie. It was meant to just be like kind of a pushing point. Something to really get him invested in the same way that that our girl was invested by her father's death and everything. And so it's like it was also to form that connection with them. Because it was made very clear as well that he didn't have the best relationship with his aunt. Like, he loved her to a degree, but, like, they clearly had a very rocky relationship. And he really did not like his aunt's partners, especially this most recent one. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, there's love there, but they're not that close. So it's not like it was like this really tragic thing. It was horrible, and it was definitely like fucked up, and it definitely like affected him, but it wasn't, it was purposefully made to not be as affecting. I don't know how it is in the book. Maybe it's more emotional there. I don't know. But yeah, it's just, that's the kind of vibe it gives off. again, the only part that ever like that made me get emotional was that thing with at the end with Ogden. And, and it's probably good that it came after a little bit of a funny moment with them like opening and closing the doors constantly while these two are just trying to like, kiss and enjoy each other's company. And it's just like open door, closed door, open door, closed door. That was pretty funny, actually. Um, but yeah, I I realize I haven't really like said my thoughts on this movie as a whole. I've just been mentioning like specific aspects of it. Um, I think it's pretty clear though that I loved this. And again, like I said in the pre-thoughts, I heard this was a divisive film, but according to what I looked up, it looked like it was mostly positive. Um, but there are some people, I guess some loud people out there who just wanted to let people know that they didn't like it. I loved it. I thought it was great. I got invested in the characters. I got invested in the story. The action was good. It's like I enjoyed the references. It felt like a really great story. And again, I don't know where this goes with the books. Like, there's obviously the setup with the self destruct button. Um, but on the other hand, it's like, other than that, this could be entirely self contained. Um, I don't necessarily want you to tell me like where the other books go. I don't know if there's ever going to be a sequel to this, but I'm just wondering to myself. But I would love to hear what you think of this. So tell me in the comments below, what are your thoughts on Ready Player One, specifically the movie? What did you think of the twists and turns, the character motivations? What did you think of all the references? Let me know down below. What was your favorite part of the movie? Because I had two. I had two parts that I want to highlight here at the end of these afterthoughts. One of the parts was just because it's really fucking cool. The Gundam versus Mechagodzilla. I'm sorry, that was just fucking really, really fucking cool. I can't help it. I just really love that. With the Iron Giant joining in as well, of course. But then like my other favorite part of the movie was actually the scene inside Halliday's childhood room. Even though it was intercut with like the stuff happening outside, I just really liked them talking about this while he's searching for the egg and just all the stuff that's being talked about and like it's really interesting. It's really fascinating to me. And although it doesn't answer it like directly, I do think my theory is probably correct that Halliday did die, but this is just like he uploaded like a copy of his consciousness into Oasis for specifically this, for when someone actually like solves this. That's my thought, and I think it makes sense. It makes the most sense. But yeah, I really did really enjoy this. And now we come to the future. So, I've already mentioned in the past that we are not going to be doing an end of the month movie week for October and December. The reason for this is because both of those months are, big holiday special months. During October, I do the Halloween special, in which I have to do like a bunch of special reactions to specific films for that. On top of that, at the very end of the month, leading into the beginning of November, is also Youmacon weekend, which I go to every year. It's my hometown con. It's a must go to for me. And so there's a lot I have to do to get ready for that, and that's going to take up time, and especially on the last week of the month, which would be when I'm getting ready for that. So October is just a no-go. And December is the winter holidays, and plus the last week of the month I actually take off. I take it off to break after Christmas leading into the new year, and then start again with the new year. It's a way for me to have like a little break, a little breather, and to prepare for what's to come in the future. On top of that, you also have the holiday special that I do in December. And then you also have the end of the year Princess of Gay Awards, in which I go over everything I've reacted to over the course of the year and tell you my favorites, like episodes, my favorite characters, my favorite openings, all that kind of stuff. It's not really an award show. It's just me, like, basically consolidating all of, like, oh, this was my favorite stuff I've reacted to over the year into one video. And I also get some of your guys' votes on that too, for my golden members on the Discord. But those 2 months are out. So what about November? Well, November's difficult because November has Thanksgiving here in America at the end of the month. And that is like right smack dab in the final week. And so it's like, oh, could I do it like the week before? What would I do there? The problem is there's no good answer. And so I have decided that we're going to do something else. We are going to do something else during the month of November instead. It's not going to be a special in the same way like the Halloween and holiday specials are, but it is going to be something different compared to our normal movie viewing experience. Movies will still be on Saturdays and Sundays during November, but every movie of the month will be randomly chosen by wheel. That's right. We are bringing back the random wheel movie special thing. Worded that terribly. We did that, I believe, back in February, I believe it was, where we had, I think it was a week or maybe it was the entire month, where we did a bunch of movies and every single movie was chosen by random spin. I put a bunch of movies on the wheel. We spun it. Whatever came up wins. We're going to be doing that again. I'm going to put up movies of all different genres, of all different time periods, and whatever we get to is what we get to. So look forward to that in November. But as a reminder, we do have the Halloween special going up next month in October. The Halloween special will be one of the movie reactions each week. And if you want to know what the Halloween special movies will be, you can check the announcement video that we put up at the beginning of this month. I always put up the announcement for these specials like a month early just to get people hyped for it. Meaning that at the very beginning of November, the holiday special video will go up too. But yeah, so that's just what's on the schedule coming up. The Halloween special is throughout all of October. The November will have the randomized chosen movies. And then December will have the holiday special. It will have the Princess of Gay Awards. And it'll close out 2025 for the channel. So all should be good on that front. But thank you so much. Going straight into next week, we're going right back into our normal Saturday, Sunday movies. If I look here, just to make sure, I think our Halloween special does begin next week. Yes, it begins next week. Because next week is like a few days left of September and then the beginning of October. So we're going to start the Halloween special next week. Like I said, if you want to know the movies for that, go check out the announcement video. It's on the channel. If you don't want to like scroll down through all the videos, you can also just look up like the Halloween special 2025 announcements, and you should be able to find it if you do the search on the channel. So yeah, that all being said, if you have any questions, any thoughts, anything you want to bring up, let me know. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.